Happy Tuesday and happy New Year's Eve. This is going to be the last live stream that I do for 2024. So while it's a bit sad, I'm also a little bit excited as well. I see a few of you didn't just meet me here, you beat me here. So good morning to Misha out on the West Coast. Thanks for joining me. I see you were commenting at 10:30 my time. So that was 7:30 your time. I greatly appreciate you being here. I believe it's Avinash. Happy New Year in 2025 to you and your family and friends as well. And C and M, good morning. I see you say you look forward to learning. We have Duval on LinkedIn. Let me pull up LinkedIn really quick just to make sure that I'm seeing those folks. If you are tuning in on Facebook, say what's up so I know that you're here. Um, Let's see. So I know LinkedIn has to be working if I got that comment that says hello, everyone. If you're on LinkedIn, I believe the same goes on Facebook as well, but especially if you're LinkedIn, please make sure that you give me permission to see your comments, or else I'll have to be on LinkedIn to see those. And I want to make sure that I'm able to answer all of your questions in real time. Now, I will prepare for the little lag there is because sometimes when I say something on the stream, I know that it takes like 3 seconds for YouTube to get it, and then it takes about 5 for LinkedIn. So, okay. So Deval says, good morning, Timalyn. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining me. I got 2 folks on LinkedIn. 7 people, 8 people on YouTube, and nobody on Facebook so far. CFO Aesthetic, I did not know that you were Tasha, but now I do. Good morning. So I know a lot of you may have things planned today. Hopefully, you have a little bit of relaxation in before you bring in the new year, but I don't want to delay the time anymore. So let's get right into it. If you're new to me and you're stumbling across this video and you see that this is an enrolled agent course, I want to speak to that. Okay. Throughout the years, even before I started these live streams to help enrolled agents and aspiring enrolled agents, I would have people ask me what the best enrolled agent course is. And when they asked, I assumed that they were asking me, what's the best course to take to study for the exam and be able to pass it, right? And for those of you who have not passed the EA exam yet, I will tell you, for me, that was Passkey, which is now partnered with Hawk International. And to date, I believe that they have the best EA review system on the market. It was crazy. My hat's crooked. Sorry. It was crazy because I read somebody's list yesterday. I think they had the top 7 EA review courses for 2024, and they didn't have Passkey on there and they didn't have Hawk on there. And I was like, I can't believe anything else is on this list. So, right out the gate, if you're studying for the EA exam and that's the course that you're inquiring about, I highly recommend Passkey and or Hawk, right? Because if you still go to passkey.com, you can still find it, or if you go to Hawk International. Now, through the years, as people have talked, I realized that they were equating passing the EA exam with knowing how to be an EA. And quite frankly, there's nothing further than the truth. If you have tuned into me at any time over the past year and a half, you know what I always say, and that is getting your EA license gives you the authorization to act as an EA, but it does not teach you how to be an enrolled agent, right? Just like when you got your driver's license, you had a document that said that you could legally be on the road, but you didn't know how to drive. You may have practiced here and there. You took a written test and passed it. You took a actual test where you had to drive and you passed it, but you don't know how to drive until you actually get that experience. And a lot of people are looking for a course that can substitute that experience so that they can feel comfortable with doing the work. Well, There are different parts to becoming an enrolled agent, right? Because if you're not familiar with the designation, the EA license is the highest designation that the IRS awards to taxpayers, which gives them the authority to do tax preparation for clients living in all 50 states, which is huge because we know states like California, you have to pass the CTEC, right? Well, the EA license trumps that. Okay. Now, California is pretty wild, so I still recommend being familiar with that state, but it trumps all other licenses and it's federal for tax preparation. Then, if we look at tax planning, it also gives you the authority to do that. NAEA, which is the National Association of Enrolled Agents, deems us as America's tax experts because if you understand the tax law for tax preparation and in your studies you go deeper to learn how to avoid certain tax implications, how to reduce certain tax liabilities, that's information that you can then take to the client to help them with tax reduction strategies, which we call tax planning, right? You're thinking into the future and you're projecting and you're determining what that tax liability is going to be based on the facts that you have and different strategies that you can implement. So we have the tax preparation, the tax planning, and then we have my favorite, tax representation, right? Where we go and stand in the gap for the taxpayer between them and the IRS, and we can negotiate their debt. We can represent them in audits. We can even go in and have tax liens removed and stop levies. Now, that's my favorite part, but I realize not everyone even wants to do that. So when people are looking for an enrolled agent course, they're looking to learn how to do the work. And one of the things that I realize is that there's no course out there that actually does that. So again, if you're new here, I know we're about 8 minutes in, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Timalyn Bowens, and I'm America's favorite EA. I'm the owner of Bowens Tax Solutions, which is a virtual firm based in Louisville, Kentucky, and we specialize in tax representation, specifically for taxpayers who owe the IRS $100,000 or more if they're being actively audited or levied. Now, I started the America's Favorite EA platform because I do like to teach and because I like to teach about what I do, and I saw that there was a gap. I realized there are tax professionals, newly minted EAs, who have no idea how to start and run their own firm. Now, I consider myself a lifetime learner. I like to read a lot. I like to dig in and do research about tax law, right? So, one of the things that benefited me with having an accounting degree and then even going and working 3 seasons at a large CPA firm was learning how to do the research and study. But if you're a newly minted EA and you don't have any background in the tax industry, you don't know how to do that. And quite frankly, a lot of you who do have experience, maybe working at a franchise, maybe preparing taxes for family and friends, you don't know how to dig into the law past the publications. And I must admit, the publications aren't authority in law. The Internal Revenue Code is, and the publication is the interpretation of the law for taxpayers, not for us as tax professionals, right? So, with that being said, and as I'm teaching at different conventions, not teaching different webinars, and I started these live streams in August of 2023, I said, what can I do to actually fill in this gap? So, what I have that will be launching in May of 2025 is the How to Start an Enrolled Agent Firm course. Now, with the course, there will be 8 weeks worth of modules. Some weeks there might be one module, some weeks there may be more. The reason I say that, if you've ever been on a live stream with me, you guys know that I can get happy about whatever I'm talking about as far as taxes are concerned, and I will just go, right? An hour video that gives you insight and then also gives you homework may be all that you need for the week. That's why I say it is going to vary. However, for me, I had 3 years of experience working at a CPA firm, 3 seasons, excuse me. Then I also have an accounting background. For marketing, I also have a writing minor. So there are some things within the realm of entrepreneurship where I'm ahead of the learning curve. So, what I wanted to do before this course actually launches in May is work through what I've prepared in real time with a controlled group of people. That is the beta program that's going to be launching on next Monday. So, with the difference between the beta program and what will launch in May, because I've been getting questions about this. First, let me speak to the course. I apologize. Let me speak to the course and what you will find in there. Okay. So, when I first started my firm, I didn't know what I was doing, you guys. Because of the CPA firm experience, I had an idea of workflows and structures and what communication with the client should look like, but it was totally different doing it on my own. Even down to pricing. I knew what the firm was charging, but I was thinking, I don't have to charge that much because I don't have this huge office. I don't have to pay for conferences. I don't have to pay for all of this overhead that they have. One of the mistakes that I made with pricing was undervaluing the services that I offered because I was only thinking about how much I used to get paid an hour, and I wasn't thinking about the overhead that I now had, right? With software, with computer, with cybersecurity, with I don't want people to be at my house, so I need a virtual office. Those types of things weren't factored into my price. And that's a mistake that I see my fellow tax professionals make as well. So, for the first 4 weeks of the course, it is going to be about learning the structure of the firm. When I say the structure of the firm, the very first thing that we have to get together is you as a tax professional. Okay. There are certain things where you need to understand why you do what you do. Yes, you can make more money as an enrolled agent than you can as a non credentialed tax preparer. But when days get rough, when the clients get on your nerves, when the IRS puts you on those 5 to 7 minute holds and then they do a courtesy hang up, money is not going to be enough to get you through that, right? I can say that I want to do it for my daughter, but I need to get even more specific into why I want to do it for my daughter, why I want to do it for my family to push me through those hard times. You're going to have me there to help you figure out what that actually is for you. And I'll tell you this, the root reason will stay the same, but it will also evolve. Now, once we get past that, I walk you through how to figure out what your client avatar looks like. And a lot of people may roll their eyes at that and be like, oh my goodness, I don't need to do this. But here is the fact of the matter. You actually do, because all of your marketing is going to revolve around your why, and it's going to revolve around who your ideal client avatar is. This doesn't necessarily have to be a niche in industry, because think about this. If you look at the people commenting on here, right? Everyone is different, but everyone at the same time is the same. All of you have certain things in common aside from you wanting to be an enrolled agent or being an enrolled agent. And the reason that is because I am very clear in my content marketing. I'm very clear in my direct marketing and who I want to work with. And the way that I put content out is going to attract a certain person. And I want to help you do that same thing. So by establishing that foundation, Now we can actually create marketing that is going to have an impact. We can create a schedule that will help you be consistent in that marketing so people know that you're not a fly by night preparer or a fly by night person that does representation, that just takes people's money and disappears, right? After we have that foundation, I help you set up pricing, I help you set up structure and workflow. And for the record, it's not colluding because we're not going to all get in and talk about, well, I charge this and I charge that, and now we should all charge this to make the ceiling go up. That's not what I'm talking about. I help you to figure out your framework for what your costs are to help you determine what is the base that your prices need to be, right? And then I take it a step further. I say, hey, what do you want to actually be able to pay yourself? That needs to be factored into your price as well. Hey, are we going to be hiring people so they can actually do this work and bring clients in? Well, guess what? That needs to be factored into your price as well. How profitable do you want your business to be? Because yes, being able to pay yourself is great, but at the end of the day, you also need reserves in your business. What does that profit margin need to look like in your business? Okay, because we need to also factor that into your price as well. You're not going to say, okay, I want to make $85 an hour. This type of tax return usually takes me an hour, so I'm going to charge $85. That's not how it works if you want to have a sustainable business. Okay. I've seen a lot of my colleagues go out of business from making that same pricing mistake. So that's why there are going to be modules on pricing for tax preparation and for tax representation. Now, I'll be skim across the top with tax planning just because that's not a focus of mine, but I have people that I can connect you with who do mentorship in that area. Okay. So the first 4 weeks, we're setting your foundation for marketing, whether that's going to be direct marketing, whether that's going to be referral marketing, whether that's going to be content marketing. We're going to set that schedule for your content so you don't have an excuse to not do it, right? You already know what you're going to be talking about each time. You just have to sit down and do the work. Looking at that, we're going to be looking at your marketing plan. And then we're going to figure out how many clients do you need in each area to make the money that you want to make. Tax season is 3.5 months, right? You can work all year long if you want to, if you know how to call out the people that you want to work with. Okay? Now, when we look at structure and everything with that, what am I talking about? I'm talking about what should your workflow look like for a tax preparation client. Now, we're going to be together in the beta program during tax season, right? What other better time to be with me live for 2 hours every week? Because that's the difference between the course and the beta program as well. If you purchase the beta program, every Monday from 12 Eastern to 2 Eastern, you're going to be with me. Not like this where you get to know me better. We're going to be on Zoom, so you see my eyeballs. I'm going to be looking in your eyeballs. We're going to bust this out together. Okay? That first month with workflows and processes. Now, if you're an article subscriber, you do have access to some of this in the articles, right? The templates and things. But we're going to work on intake forms. Now, what do I mean by intake forms? Before I even get on the call with somebody, I am already pre-qualifying them. Before somebody hops on the phone with me, even if it's a paid call, I still know what we're going to be talking about because guess what? I'm the tax expert and I'm going to be the person in control of the call. I want to teach you all how to do that same thing. If it is a discovery call, 15-minute discovery call that's not paid, I definitely need an intake form because I'm not going over that 15 minutes unless I'm going for the sale to bring them on as a client. Okay? That kind of structure in your business makes you more efficient and also is going to save you time. I'm going to also share with you the workflows that I use for tax preparation, the workflows that I use for tax representation, right? Because with your EA license, you're authorized to do the work, but you don't know what that representation workflow should look like. I'm going to help you with what it looks like to do a compliance check with the IRS. When you call, what information is critical that you write down? What are the questions that you should be asking the revenue agent? What if you have a client that is assigned to a revenue officer? What's the difference between working with a revenue agent and a revenue officer? Now, some of you may be on here and you're like, hey, I haven't actually passed the EA exam yet. Is this going to be available later? It will be available later in the form of the course, though, not the beta program with me. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. I have, I think, 5 people. No, 6 people in there already. I would like to keep this to 20. And the reason I'd like to keep this to 20 is because I want people from different backgrounds. But again, I want to get feedback in real time to make sure that this is good for somebody who didn't have an accounting background. I want to make sure that this is good for somebody who didn't have mentorship from a CPA firm, right? With the people in there, I don't know if anybody in the mentorship program is in there now. I'm going to be in your business for 8 weeks if you decide to come and do this, right? What I was starting to say, out of the 6 people in there now, there are some people who have not passed the EA exam. I've had people ask me, is this right for me if I haven't passed the EA exam yet? So here's the thing. Unless you've built a phenomenal network of people who are waiting for you, once you pass the exam, this program is still for you. And the reason why is because we are also working on your marketing. There are different marketing prompts and things that I give, and that's in the article subscription as well, that will still prime your audience and let them know, hey, I'm an aspiring EA. This is what enrolled agents do. And once I pass this exam, this is how I can fully help you. Right now, I can assist you, but I can't take it over for you. So I leave it up to you and your discretion. If you have not passed the EA exam yet, yes, you can still join from where I sit. I'm not holding you back from that because you still need to have the same systems in place for your firm, because you can still do tax preparation and bring in those clients. Because if you pass the exam by the end of February, by the time you get done filing somebody's back taxes and they're actually processed, you're going to be able to do their installment agreement. Because when you hit a bump and you can't take the client any further because you don't have your license, that's going to push you more to study and get it done. Now, again, humbly, for the beta program, I am going to be the catch here. So when the course launches, you will have access to my EA mentorship program, which meets twice a month, right? On Zoom, eyeball to eyeball. You will also have access to the group, which there is the How to Start an Enrolled Agent Firm group, which is a free group community. I drop tips and stuff in there, sometimes give free prompts. But the Enrolled Agent Mentorship Program is a paid only group. All right. So I go in a little bit more detail there. They just get a little bit more in there. Okay. Then you will also get the article subscription as well. Now, let's say that you can't afford the beta program. All right. So the beta program is half of what the course will launch at. When the course launches in May, it will be $1,000. Now, If you're in the beta program, so you're with me every Monday from 12 to 2, and then you'll be with me twice, two more times in January with the EA mentorship program. Then you'll be with me two more times in February with the EA mentorship program. You have the access to the group. In the Spaces app, you have direct access to me via DM. That would be $500, right? But let's say that you can't pay $500 before January 6th. I get that. Here's the thing, a workaround. You can join the EA mentorship program. That's $250 a month. Now, the caveat though, if you leave the mentorship program, you lose access to the course when you leave. Whereas if you buy the course, you have access to the mentorship program for 2 months, but the course is yours for life. So that is a potential workaround. So going back, because I forgot, I didn't even cover the second month because I got too wrapped up. First month, we're laying foundation. We're looking at marketing. We're looking at workflows and processes. If you have questions about software, that's cool. During February, we are actually learning how to do the work. And here's the thing, I have not taught a tax preparation course, I don't think, since the beginning of 2020, right? And when I teach taxes, I go line by line. This is not going to be something where you have, where I'm teaching you how to do S Corp returns or partnerships, that type of thing. But the majority of people, at the very least, need to know how to properly do the W-2 return with somebody that has a family, and then also do a Schedule C and E return. During February, I'm going to teach you how to do that. So again, people ask me, do I need to have the EA license before I do this? If you're building your tax preparation business, in January, I'm teaching you how to market. And then in February, I'm teaching you how to do the most basic return. For $500, I think that you definitely should be in there. Now, the last part of February, because representation is my favorite part, I'm going to actually show you the fundamentals of representation. So how to fill out that Form 2848 for power of attorney, right? And if you're an aspiring EA, that doesn't apply to you yet, but did you know that there's a mini course already in the article subscription that walks you through how to properly do the 8821? It's there, and it'll also be in this course as well. In addition to that, you'll have the templates already from January that are going to show you how to onboard different types of clients, so preparation and how to onboard your representation clients. So then I'm going to teach you how to actually read the transcripts and how to create a transcript report, even if you don't have a software. Because here's the thing, software is a tool and an enhancement, but you have to be smarter than the software. And I can tell you a lot of representation cases that I get are due to the preparer error, whether it was self-prepared by the taxpayer or another tax professional. And I see what happened is that the preparer, and again, whether it's a professional or a taxpayer, relied on the software to complete forms that they didn't actually understand how to do themselves. And what happened with that is errors were made because they didn't actually understand the tax law. So, beginning of February, we're going through how to prepare different tax returns, right? Before I send you off, we're doing the fundamentals of tax representation. So again, how to do that compliance check. What do you need to say when you talk to the IRS? What do you need to say to the client on the intake to make sure that you have all the information and you're not blindsided before you get on the phone with the IRS? How do you fill out a 433A? Huh? That's the income collection statement. How do you fill that out to know what the best case scenario is for the client? With that, that's your smoking gun. right? To be able to negotiate the 433A, 433F. We'll look at how to do that for a business. We'll look at how to set up a streamlined installment agreement, a partial pay installment agreement. You're going to be equipped with these tools when you leave me in the beta program. Now, I'm going to go through these comments and answer any questions. So I see Misha just commented on YouTube. So I know YouTube is still working. I'm sorry you lost your signal. I see you say, yes, I saw that previously. So I'm going to assume you were talking about the mini course for the 8821, but let me get through here. Hello, Dr. Janan. How are you doing? She says lifetime course is fire. So, like I said, most definitely. And here's something I've been asked about, right? So they say, okay, with the beta program, I get to see you for 8 weeks. So again, we're starting January 6th, but it's not going to be 8 straight weeks. We're going to take off, or we're going to skip 1 week, and we're going to skip the week of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, right? Because that's not realistic. I'm glad you're doing well. That's not realistic, okay? So we're going to skip that week. The difference between the beta program is the price and me. When people sign up for the course, they will be in the Enrolled Agent Mentorship Program for 2 months. So they have 4 opportunities to see me eyeball to eyeball, right? They do have the direct DM access on Spaces, and they do have the community for case support and to ask any questions. For my people in the beta program, they're going to pay half the price, but then they're going to also see me for 2 hours minimum every week. Now, anybody in the mentorship program can tell you, if I feel there's a need for me to hop on or stay on longer, that happens. But there will be weeks where I get on to teach live. And when I say live with that, I will have a PowerPoint because it will be recorded, right? So I can go into the module. But there will be weeks where the homework and the modules are dripped because it may be too heavy for me to teach live and answer your questions live. So you'll have the opportunity to go through the module and then come and have me for 2 hours to answer questions. Or if it's a worksheet like marketing, ask my folks. I'll have you pull up your worksheet. If you're having an issue with LinkedIn, we're going to pull that up. If you're having an issue with a case or a tax return, you redact the information and pull it up, and we're going to bust it out right there. So those are the main differences: the access that you'll have to me and the price. All right. So I know LinkedIn is working. I have 5 people on LinkedIn. It's funny because sometimes I have a bunch of people on LinkedIn and no people over here. But we got 15 people on YouTube, a person on Facebook. Hi. That still hasn't said anything, person on Facebook. So let's see. Paul says, eagerly waiting before this tax season. I'm excited and not excited. This is going to be the first season I'm taking new tax preparation clients since 2020. So it's going to be interesting, especially since I'm not working with business owners anymore. And when I say business owners, I mean people who are actually still on the grind in their business. If I'm working with an investor, like a partner that's going to have a K1 that's a little bit different, or shareholder. I need one suggestion. Let me just pull this up. I need one suggestion. In India, there are limited centers. Any possibility how to request the IRS opening up more testing centers in India? Excuse me. I honestly, I don't have any suggestions. I did not realize until this year, actually, how few and far between the testing centers are in India. Not just India, just outside of the United States, because I took for granted here that Prometric centers are just about everywhere. And I had somebody telling me that they were going to take all 3 of the sections of the exam in 1 week. And I was like, why would you do that? And they said, well, the closest testing center is 7 hours away and I have to go by train. And I was just like, wow. Um, that's a question though that I've gotten a bit more frequently. Now, you guys, I already have stated how I feel about Hawk and Passkey. That might be something that if you look on the Hawk International LinkedIn page or even website, they may have suggestions for that. And the reason I say that is because they have partnerships. Um, they have study partnerships with different groups in India. And Brian Hawk himself actually goes over there live to help with those, not testing centers, I'm sorry, study centers. So that might be something that they have more knowledge about than I do. So CFO Aesthetic, which is Tasha, says, yes, I started studying with Hawk under the impression that I could sit for this SEE to serve in tax rep with no experience. Kind of feel like maybe I need an accounting degree, help. So the thing with that, and people say this to me too, like, oh my goodness, like I have to get the EA license so that I can help these people. That's correct. You do have to have the EA license so you can do representation, but the EA license is tax law only. It doesn't teach you how to do representation work. And then people get stuck and they're like, well, I don't want to market because I don't want to get a client and I don't know what I'm doing. So then they learn how to do the work instead of marketing, and then they know how to do the work, but they don't know how to attract the people. So that's one of the things in the course too, and when I work with in the mentorship, in the course, you still have me in the group and you can still ask questions and you can still put the case support questions in the group, right? And not just get my feedback, but also the other members of the group. With the beta program, you have me for 8 weeks. Go get the clients that are hard because you have me there to actually guide you through the representation process with them, right? Now, to the part about the accounting degree, this does trip up a lot of people. So, with the accounting degree, it's not required to become an EA to have the EA license. However, if you're going to be doing business tax returns, if you're going to be representing businesses, you don't have to have an accounting degree, but I do highly recommend that you get some kind of accounting experience. Now we have the FMAA, which, of course, I'm not going to remember what it stands for right now. But it is through, I can't remember who it's through right now. It's a certification, though, that goes back there and teaches you the basics of accounting as far as budgeting, balance sheet, income statement. You need to understand what those statements are and what they represent, because if you're doing an S Corp or a partnership return, you need to understand the balance sheet and what that looks like on the return. I think even all business owners need to understand and at least take at minimum some type of accounting 101 class, because we run into this as well with people who become bookkeepers, right? They should understand accounting, but they rely on the software to do debits and credits, and they don't fully understand in their head what that's doing. And then in the long run, they end up becoming a client of mine because there's been stuff that is misrepresented on the tax return, right? So then they need representation to fix that. So, Tasha, you don't need an accounting degree. However, in my humble opinion, if you're going to be working with business clients in any capacity, whether that's preparation or that's representation, you do need to take some type of accounting 101 course. If you go to a JUCO and take it, if you find something online to take it, if I have enough people to request it, I might teach it. But you do need some type of accounting 101, just so you can be of best benefit to your client. And so you have that under your belt so you can work more confidently as well. Because when you know better, you can then market with confidence because you know that you can help, right? Right. So, tell me a way to get clients. So, one way to get clients, I'm just going to do this really quickly because I just said we're going to be doing this in the course, right? One way to get clients is through content marketing. If you are bootstrapping and you don't have a lot of money, content marketing and direct marketing, not via mail, but via social media, will be your best bet. But you have to find a nice balance between direct marketing when you are online. You don't want to just go to LinkedIn and spam everybody's inbox, right? Because then we'll block you and people will post and rant and rave about how they hate LinkedIn because it's so salesy and spamsy, right? When you are intentional about connecting with the right people and putting out content that will be relevant to them and valuable to them, that opens the door for you to have the conversation. Well, I'm already linked with Hawk International. Awesome. So, yeah, definitely, especially on one of their page or not pages, one of their posts where they're talking about partnering up with a different group in India. I would ask right there, um, hey, what can we do to request more testing centers in India? Right? Because, like I said, I just learned of this being a problem. Oh, this keeps twisting. I just learned of this being a problem earlier this year. So that's not something that I've been able to do a lot of research about to advocate for. But because they are already there on the ground working, that does seem like a question that they would be able to answer. For India people, even though they get licensed for EA, there is no ERO and EFIN access from the IRS. Correct. So, one of the things that you have to do and that you're able to do, especially using LinkedIn, like I mentioned before, you don't want to be spamsy. However, you can leverage LinkedIn because there are people now that want to outsource the work, right? And maybe they want to be completely remote. Now, that brings in other implications, right? More so for the person outsourcing than for you, but it is something that could potentially work. Now, for me, and there's a video on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to outsource anymore. And when I say outsource, I'm not going to outsource any more tax prep work to a contractor because I had a horrible experience. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, Timalyn says don't work with anybody overseas. That's actually not what I'm saying at all. I've worked with some amazing people that were overseas. The person that was the final straw for me and made me decide that I'll never outsource again, uh, I had that $15,000 issue, was actually somebody that lives right in the United States. So I'm not saying that if you choose to outsource, don't outsource overseas. Just realize that there are other legal implications and disclosures that you need to make to your client if you decide to do that. So Misha says, what's the deadline to pay for this amazing opportunity? So we are starting on January 6th at noon Eastern. So the actual course, my intention is for the actual course beta program to not be available anymore. I'm going to drop the link for it. Let me see. I'm going to drop the link for it over here. Then I know I have to do it separately on LinkedIn. So if you go to the site right now, it will tell you that it drops on January 6th. So there's not going to be anything in there right now for you to get started. You'll just have access to the group to come in and introduce yourself. But I've considered leaving it up later, but I don't want to leave it open too long and then just be waiting, if that makes sense. Now, if you, again, if there's somebody who can't afford even with the half off of the course, people who are in the EA mentorship have access to it. Okay, they get to come to all 8 calls, any extra calls that I have. And when you're in the mentorship program as well, anything that I do on my platform that's specific to running your EA firm, you automatically get to come in for free. So here's an example what that looks like. That monthly right now is $250. So say that you were to pay $250 on January 3rd, right? You're going to be in there and you're going to have the link for all of the calls in January. You renew in February, cool. You get the access to all of me, you get everything. But then if you decide in September that you don't want to be in the mentorship program anymore and you leave, then you just lose access to the course. So that's the only caveat there. But that link is there. I hope you guys can click it. But that is a good question for those looking for a basic accounting course. Misha said there's a course on, is it course A, course EA for basic accounting 101 for like $20. Thank you, Misha. Tasha says yes, FMAA. Yes, Hawk does offer that also. Brian Hawk, we were actually having a conversation, and that's who told me about it, and I did my research. I'll revisit this because I only have limited accounting experience as a clerk. Thank you so much. You are welcome. Natasha Miller's in the building. What's up? Let me see. So we still got that one lagging person on Facebook who's been here. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys don't have any other questions, though, I am going to hop off because, like I said, I'm sure you guys got stuff to do today. I got 2 people still on LinkedIn. Like I said, I know there's a little lag. We got 15 people here on YouTube. If you have any other questions, speak now or hold your peace. Miss Austin in the building says hello to you. If anybody here is an article subscriber or is in the group, How to Start an EA Firm, how did you guys like the writing prompts? So check this out. It's supposed to be 12 days of Christmas. I intentionally gave 6. Then I gave a prompt for 7. And then I gave bullet points for 8 through 12. Now, in addition to that, if you are an article subscriber, you also got 30 days worth of prompts. So I get it. I'm being nice. Everybody's not a writer like me, right? But with 30 days of prompts, what I've given you, and when I say a prompt, it's something to get you thinking about what you want to talk about with the content, right? So I give you a topic and then you make it your own. It's not fill in the blank. So if I got Misha, Alita, DeLacy, if I have all these people on there, your post isn't going to look the same because it's going to be catered to you. 30 days. Now, with that, we have now eliminated your excuse to not put any content out. You do have to sit down and manage your time so that you can create the content, though. So one of the things that I didn't mention earlier that I, even at time, if I'm not strict and structured, struggle with as well, is making the time to plan my content out. You guys, if I post something before 10 o'clock, that's probably not me. I'll tell you right now, that's scheduled out. Unless I'm awake and I'm really, really, really excited about something. So, for those of you, because I get it, right? I bootstrap my business. For those of you who, you're interested, but maybe you can't do this yet, I'm dropping the link in here for the free group. All right. Now, of course, I would like to work with you, build out your firm, see you in real time, get the clients and everything, and then actually be able to help you on those cases. But I know not everybody's at that spot, right? And that is A-okay. Now, if, again, maybe you're like, the free group is cool because I can't do the 250 right now, but I really would like your insight to how to build a firm. I would like to see what your engagement letter looks like. I would like to see what you suggest for pricing. I would like to get your input on the content I'm creating. We go from the mentorship program down to $25 a month, and there is the article subscription. Now, the way that I do these is similar to how I do the articles. So if there's no video with a mini class, and even if there is, really, I always have a now it's your turn. So you actually have the opportunity to implement whatever I've taught you in that article. And there are some people in here that are very faithful to it. I ask questions so that we can have a conversation. With that being said, if you can't do the mentorship program, you can't do the beta program, I'm dropping the link so that you can still see where the article subscription is. Because, like I mentioned in February, we are going to be learning how to do different tax returns. In the article subscription, there's a mini class series. Part of it I still have to record, part of it's scheduled, but teaching you how to do different tax returns. You're not going to find another line by line course for $25 a month. I can promise you. But that is something that I'm going to do because I understand that we're not all in the same spot. Now, the article subscription works the same way. I do need to go back in and recategorize some of them better. So it's more like marketing, tax preparation, because right now it's not as easy to get through. I will say it's easier to manage on the website to sort those different categories, but same thing. Article subscription is $25 a month. You pay for it, you cancel it, you have access until whatever day of the month you signed up. So let's say that you signed up on December 31st and then you cancel it on January 3rd. You're going to have access till January 31st, and you need to get in there and get as much material, whether it be for marketing or how to do returns or how to do rep work, as you can. It's like Netflix. You cancel it and it's gone. Let me make sure I don't have any other questions because I've been here almost an hour and I'm going to bounce. All right. Oh, Mike. Mike says, morning. I'm moving and shaking while listening. Thanks for being on here, Mike. And congratulations, you guys. Mike just recently passed the EA exam. All three parts, filed Form 23. He's one of the newest members of the EA family. So you all say congratulations to him. He's over on Facebook, but I'll read them to him if you say congratulations. DeLacy, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. DeLacy said she loved it. DeLacy was in the marketing class that I did, which was crazy because I went all in for $25 for people in a marketing class. And then she's also in the free group. So she got those prompts. We got to work and she had some really good results. I was following her. I was proud of her for sticking with it too. Misha says, thanks, Timalyn. See you on January 6th. Awesome. I'm sorry. If you go look at the beta program, of course, now it's going to say $1,000. The 50% off is available to you if you use the code GREATEA. GREATEA. All caps. And then you should see that 1,000 go down to 500. Thank you so much, Misha. She says, I'm an article subscriber. I love them. Oh, thank you. You're too kind. All right. So, Mike, we have Tasha says, congratulations. Carlos, what is up? I didn't know you were on here. Carlos says, congrats, Mike. Alita says, congrats, Mike. Lacey says, thank you so much. Natasha said the prompts were helpful. Yes, that's another thing when, because again, I have a writing background. No, not everybody has that. I didn't understand why people couldn't do content. They would tell me why they were stuck, how they were stuck, and they couldn't pay $500, $750 a month for copy. And I was like, wait, you pay what for copy? But again, if you were an article subscriber and those prompts are in an article, literally the last article with prompts has 30 in there. No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's a month's worth. It's 25 because there are 5 main ones and then there are 5 suggestions to follow up. So yeah, it's not. Is my math not mathing? You got a month worth of content prompts in there, all right? That you can either do video, you can do a post, or you can turn into a blog post, right? With that, you're not paying $750 or $500 for it, but you have that much content for a $25 a month subscription. So that's what I was trying to say. All right, so it looks like you guys don't have any other questions. Again, I'm not going to put the code for the beta program in here. I'm just going to say it out loud. The code is GREAT, GREATEA. You are welcome. I appreciate people that actually use them, right? Because I'm going to be testing out some more prompts you all are going to see because I am opening my book back up for tax preparation. So a lot of the time you all see me talk to EAs on here, you're going to see me talking to taxpayers again because I have to make sure that the prompts that I give you are actually tried and true. Everything that I have given you guys so far is something that I've actually used and tracked and works. So, alrighty, people are hopping off. I'm getting ready to hop off. If you guys have any questions, you can always comment on the video. I think I'm going to leave this replay up till January 6th in case there's anybody else that may want to join. I hope that you guys join me in the beta program. If you don't have the opportunity to or can't, no love lost, no worries. I will see you guys in 2025.